Last weekend, we witnessed RLCS history. Team Falcons from the MENA region became the first team not from EU or NA to win an RLCS major. And they showed the world just how dominant of a team they can be. They've made grand finals before, but could never close out a win. That was until RLCS Raleigh, where it looked like they were untouchable, only dropping a total of 3 individual matches the entire playoffs. So I wanted to do a deep dive on why this was the case. As an ex-RLCS player and someone who likes to do a deep analysis of Rocket League, I took the time to grab all of the replays, break down all of their stats in the grand finals, and gain a deeper understanding on why this team is so scary to play against, and what this means for the future of the top level of Rocket League. So sit back, relax, and hopefully you learn a thing or two from this deep dive that you can use in your own gameplay. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, for game 1, we're going to be watching TRK's POV. This is the game they lost, and I think it's important to see the distinction between how he played in game 1 versus game 2 to really start their streak. As you can see, he went for the mid boost, got demoed on the way back. Someone in the back corner caught him on the rotation back. Just an early goal to open it up. This was the first game of the series where Dig really kind of came out swinging, and it was looking like they had a potential to take them down. But in the whole event, Falcons really did not seem beatable, at least in a series. In a game, yes, they've taken a couple losses throughout the whole event, but in the entire event, they never lost one series. Now, TRK only had like sub 100 points in this first game, so I really wanted to see what he did. Looking at the stats, he is sort of their midfielder, just from stats purely alone. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see when we break this down how the rotation went. But seeing him with sub 100 points in this first game, we'll see how his impact was. But so far, he's been forcing the issue on some of the touches. Rotating back, this boost is going to spawn for him. Hits it forward to Clears. You can see Clears is already trying to watch it and sit in mid. And Rawas is watching. You see, this is the kind of thing that keeps their pressure. When you have players ready for the 50s, right? In this situation, he hits it forward. He sees that Clears is down forward, so he can make a touch. He doesn't want to clear that over to Stizzy on the wall. And then when Clears goes for this, look at the position of Rawas over here in this position. He is ready for anything that spills in this half. Meanwhile, TRK is also watching the left, and you can see that Stizzy's ready for anything that spills backwards. So Joreus is trying to force that either over to Jack or over to Stizzy. And this is kind of this like triangular system that both these teams are using when they're making an attack on the ball. And so Stizzy is ready for anything that spills to a close 50, but you see the 50 ends up in favor of Rawas, and the speed of him to get up to this 50. Now look at Clears recognizing the space. No one is really going, and the second that he sees Jack get close, he pops it over. Instant jump from TRK. Good stuff. And the thing about like points is it really doesn't tell the whole story. Lots of space for Rawas here. Instant turn. Tries to go for the bump. Good call there. Clear's trying to stay with space. They're always in the next position on the next ball. Every single option is covered. The 50 drops to Clears, stays in the corner once again. Plays 50s. Every single ball that they play for is always a contingency plan involved. He sees he's last, but he sees no one's near him, so he takes control. Not the greatest play there, because I think he could have maybe taken more control. Seeing that like Stizzy dropped the ball, I don't think he could see past the ball, but Jack was really far away, so he could have forced a flick or a challenge later on. But it wasn't the end of the world, because once again, one of the players was always ready. Not the best challenge from TRK, and this is the kind of thing that I think that they don't really do in the later games, where like this is a loss of possession when Clears clears this. Clears, I think they call him Killers. I don't really like that name because it's kind of like, you know, menacing, but Clears makes it a clear name. Like, he didn't need to dive for this, and like instead he could be surveying the midfield, because you can see Rawas was low in the back left, and he couldn't get back. Meanwhile, TRK is the only player with boost after that challenge where he could have been coming down the wall. After he sees that he loses possession, he comes out this way, and then he can cover midfield. Knowing that Jack is going to turn this corner and take the clear, he either takes possession and he can challenge if he waits patiently here, or if there's a big boom, which is what happens because he's got full boost and full speed on the ball, he can kind of cover this midfield for where I think it was not Stizzy, but it was Joreus who turns and makes the redirect. So that's something that they definitely probably do later on in the series where they posture for that. And Joreus was in a perfect position to make that change up on the ball. So far, pretty standard stuff from Dignitas. This was a series. This was the finals that I wanted, by the way. I know everyone was like hoping for Energy, and I always love seeing the Energy boys do well, but I also wanted to see a new winner. And Joreus and Stizzy are two players that I believe deserve a finals, grand finals win. Maybe not as much as Rawas, Kalirs, and TRK though. I think this was actually the scenario I wanted the most because these guys have deserved a win in an RLCS finals for the longest time. They did get a major final, if you consider Esports World Cup a final that is like a major final. I don't know if they call it a major. I'm not really sure. But definitely a good win for them, and it was in their home turf. Let's see what Rawas does here. You can see that you got Kalirs in the back wall. Doesn't have any boosts. But Rawas does a really good job of stalling time. Clear off to the side. You're going to leave it for Kalirs here. Rotates behind. So, like, he doesn't have a lot of points this game, but it doesn't really, like, it's not like he's not doing a lot. Just a couple of situations where, like, that touch there, that can't get back. A couple touches where they're panicking, like Rawas panics and kind of pops it back to mid. And yeah, it just ends up in the hands of Dignitas again. Stizzy makes a perfect shot to the back right. Couple panicky touches, but that's not TRK's fault. He's first this ball. Good fake. So obviously a bit of antsiness in this series from them so far, but they really clean it up. I remember watching this series and just noticing a shift in how they play. That's why we're going to watch TRK again in the next game and see how they build up their composure. Because historically, they have had struggles in grand finals closing out a series. Double from Rawas. Ooh. What a shot. And that's the final goal of Dignitas in this game. I believe that Falcons get one more goal in this game. Not that it really matters. Now, what I want to say about goals is that there were 13 goals scored by Falcons in this entire finals, and 9 of them were from Kalirs. 2 of them were from Rawas in this game, and then of the games that they won, TRK scored 1 goal and Rawas scored 1 goal in the games they won. That just goes to show why Kalirs was MVP of this entire event. We're going to see one more goal from Falcons, sort of like an icebreaker for them. And I believe it's near the end. Let's see if I can check it. Oh, yeah, it's like close to the end of the game. I'll go back to not having that on screen. There we go. And oh, that was not it. Good patience here. Trying to force a bump. So we see a clear off to the side. Kalirs was pre-jumping it. I mean, at this point, I think they're admitting that this game is not going to be a win. I remember that play from Kalirs, though. That was insane. He did like a crazy pre-jump and the dunk. Just, I mean, if this was a closer game, that would have been really, really exciting to see them come back. But at this point, I think they're playing for game 2. Instant pop. You can see like this pop here. It was good, but this setup is not going to give Rawas enough time. Because you can see that in this situation, Joreus has already grabbed this back corner. And he's already started his approach to cover any aerial situation here. So in this situation, like with his teammate still grabbing the boost, it's going to take him too much time to get in the air to contest this airspace. So it's always going to be a win here from Joreus. It's hard for him in the moment to see that, but it's going to be always covered by Dignitas before Rawas can get there. You can see he actually gets beat pretty early on. A really good double here. And I love, they do this a lot, and I think this is something that a lot of teams are starting to do a lot more, is just use the momentum of the ball coming off the backboard to set up a play. And the smarter teams in RLCS right now are using momentum-based gameplay, where it's not so much them producing their own momentum, it's using the momentum from the other team to produce really good opportunities. And you can see like the game becomes more of a chess game as we get into higher and higher levels. It's something that like Energy did really well when they were really successful, and I think that they haven't been doing as much, and what's kind of been their downfall against teams like the Falcons. Let's go into game 2 and see what TRK did differently on this team to sort of start their shift into the win. All right, moving into game 2, we're going to watch TRK once again, and he has a lot more impact in this game, and I think they're going to start to figure out their rhythm in this game, and that's where they sort of take off. Dignitas do not win another game in this series. We see space on the side here. He just goes for an instant challenge, but does go to Jack. And both opponents, both teammates are low, but Rawas gets the boost. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see Clears try to force out Jack's flip. And then Rawas can take control. Sorry, I keep coughing. I'm very under the weather after the RLCS, so it's going to be some coughing in between. I'm going to pause between. Actually, a good force up to Rawas. But this touch from Rawas ends up... I think there's a bit of a miscommunication there because Rawas was going to leave it for TRK, and then TRK was going to leave it for Rawas. A loss of possession, but decent 50. Tries to follow it up again. And now this ball off the side, I think they're already setting up for Clears. And that's where the goal comes from. It's like the foresight to see this. So a 50 off the side, Clears was thinking about turning up the wall to go for this. But I think TRK sees that Jorius is not in the play anymore. Stizzy is kind of posturing, but this ball bouncing off here is coming away from Stizzy and towards TRK. And so I think TRK calls off Clears. And so instead of him doing this path, he actually instantly starts rotating outwards into midfield because he knows that, like, if TRK goes for this ball and hits it off the wall, he can follow it up before Stizzy can set it up because he's going to be ready for this touch before. He knows what he's going to do. Because there's many options that TRK could take here. He could hit the ball into the corner. He could take up the wall for a self-control. So if they communicate that they're going to go for that play before Stizzy can react to it, he's always going to be first to this. So what happens is he beats, apparently, Jack. You can see Stizzy was ready for some sort of ball to come out mid, and he's trying to position for Jack's pass, but it's cut off. And now, I really think that, yeah, that's tough for Stizzy, because he's trying to go up to the backboard in time, but he can't get to it, and then Jorius can't react instead on the floor. So that's kind of like where that setup comes from, communication. And if you watched Jack's video where he plays with the two twins, they communicate very fast, like ahead of time. And I love that kind of comms where they're stating their intentions way before they do anything, which gives the advantage. Because saying what you're doing as you're doing it is not really that useful in Rocket League comms because at that point it's already happened. So calling it ahead of time and what you're intending to do is really key. He already knows he's going to lose possession there, but that instant challenge from Rawas, and I think Clears gets a goal. Yeah. So what happens here is instant shot because Stizzy was pushed up. It was almost on target, but he's always going to save that even if it is on target. Actually, maybe not. I guess he saw that it wasn't, so he didn't rush back as much. I think this is a bit of a loss of possession from Jack here. He was scared of an instant shot, but if we go to Jack's POV, like, yeah, I guess there is a shot potential. So he flicks it up. Now Stizzy's going for a back corner, and then and Jorius is behind here. So that's tough, man. I can see the problem here. Like, he puts on a perfect shot. I really think this is Jorius's ball. But he doesn't react, I think because he sees Jack going. It's unfortunate that it pinches off the crossbar. But I think this is Jorius's clear to the side. Because if he's just confident with where he can save this ball to the side for Stizzy, it's a free clear down the field. Now this is back on TRK's POV. This is a really good shot from Rawas too to put on the pressure. Now I did a video with Rawas a little bit ago talking about his defense, but I was talking about in that video about how good he has an offense as well. But I think that like Clears just had an all-star showing in this game. That's why he got MVP. He had 10 saves in this series, along with Rawas. I think, let's see here. I wrote down all the stats. TRK had 6 saves. And then for shots, Rawas had 16, Clears had 30, and TRK had 20. Now, it really goes to show that like they kind of have like a perfect mix of offense, defense, and midfield, where TRK is kind of the midfielder, Rawas is like their defender, and Clears is their all-star, offensive player. Look at that fake, and it's just instant goal too. It's just so good. The communication is so good. This is, by the way, TRK's only goal in the series, but I think it goes to show that they have impact regardless of goals going in, because there's been plenty of times where TRK has put on a lot of pressure or made a lot of setups for Clears to show off his goal scoring. Because I think goals don't tell the whole story. Good setup from Clears here. Now he got midfield. He's going for the bump. A bit of an early flick from Clears. I think he could have held on to that a little bit longer. But he didn't want to get stuffed. Really good dunk from TRK. Look at that pressure. He just instantly pops it over too. And I think in that situation, the double like sacrifice there isn't the worst for Falcons. He's just trying to get that returning player. And Jack just grabbed the mid boost too, so he's going to be like at 33 instead of 100. So you kind of like drop the resources of the opponents and their positioning. Meanwhile, TRK was on his way back with lower boost, and they were still on offense. So it's a better trade for Falcons. Look at the fake there too. This body language thing. Like they're calling that he's not going to touch this. Because look at TRK's already jumping, so he's saying I'm faking this. He touches this. He sees that Jack's like coming up for this, and he gets faked, and he turns to the side, and then instantly he can make the touch forward. And these little 50s are more important than you think. Like this touch here, he's just trying to get in some sort of way, because I think in this situation, you have Stizzy, like who was going to maybe push up. Joyce gets an extra touch, was actually really good to follow up here. I'm on the wrong player, I think. There we go. Like these little 50s that TRK is getting is disrupting what like Dignitas is intending to do. And like from what I've seen with like me playing with TRK and like even in twos, like when he was here, is just he's a very disruptive player. I will say that was a bit of a poor stuff here, but honestly it was well played from Stizzy. You have Kalirs who just got demoed. And he's off stealing. He has to challenge this. I would say the only thing that you could have done differently is like, yeah, it's not really that, like, honestly, that's the best he could do. And it wasn't like there was a lot of options. Honestly, Rawas missed there. I'm going to go back to TRK's POV here. He did what he could in that situation because he was very low, and the demo was really well played on the upfield for Dignitas because Kalirs couldn't rotate back and get into midfield to cover any of those 50s. Oh, a bit of a mystery, but he ends up landing with it anyway. Almost at a goal opportunity. Pass middle. Stizzy blocks it. Great 50. Ooh. Yeah, that's interesting. Is he trying to just force for the midfield boost there? Like, he just jumps at it, but it's not like he's going to get much out of it. I guess he just wants to get that midfield boost. Rawas lets TRK take it too. So I think that was more so just a position where, like, I'm going to go back to that because it's really interesting that he does this. So he gets a 50 off the side. TRK has 0. So I guess it forces Jorius into a controlled situation, but I think if he had more boost there, it would have been really dangerous because if that flicks on target, I don't think Clear saves that. So it's a bit of a risk, but at the end of the day, he does have boost now to challenge that, and it does work out. I guess it's a calculated risk. Good save. Good avoidance. Making it awkward. Ends up popping. Pops it back. Works out for TRK. Oh, I'm on the wrong player. Oops. There we go. That was an interesting play from Rawas. He kind of like postured in mid and just made a couple pre-jumps to give TRK the space. That could have been a shot too. Could probably have been a goal. That was a really good play from Rawas and then a miss from Jack that gave an opening. It was just a little bit too high. Nice save for Rawas. Look at the posturing too from TRK, just sitting on the back of the net, waiting for the force. Oh, it's tough. Yeah, in this situation, I can see like why Clears went for it. He's trying to clear to the side, but it was a really good angle from like Stizzy's really good at these aerial 50s. I've played with him too, and that's something he's really good at is controlling the ball in the air and getting a 50, and that's favorable for him. And you can see that's why Dignitas. Like a big factor into why Dignitas made the finals is a lot of Stizzy's aerial plays. Pop over one. It is a giveaway. And you can see right now, Stizzy's already pre-jumping. What the heck? Believes with the follow-up. And that's the end of the game. I guess it was like kind of dead time because there's 2 minutes, 2 goals to make for Dignitas. So they're just trying something crazy. Stizzy kind of just pre-jumped. We'll go into game 3, and we're going to move on to Rawas's POV. All right, now we're on Rawas, who has a very different playstyle to TRK, but it's very integral in how Falcons play. I don't want to like use the pen tool too much if I don't have to. I'm just using it in situations where I think it's valuable to see their sort of strategy and what they're doing with their setup here. TRK takes it to the wall. Deep rotation for Rawas. This is going to be a goal opportunity. Side shot. I mean, this is interesting. I think he's trying to shoot that. Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to pass that middle. I would say that's a bit of a poor shot for Rawas. I think that's actually scoreable. Like here. He does see Stizzy here. And I think if he shoots this top corner, it is a free clear. So maybe he's trying to avoid that. But I think if he spills it mid, there is a good chance that they get like a half volley clear, which is pretty dangerous in this situation when all their players are pushed up. And so it is a bit scary that if they just launch that, TRK might not get back. So I guess he just didn't feel like he had an option. Maybe if he was intending to shoot that. Gets the pop over. It should be a free save. You can already see that there's a deeper rotation from Rawas. He naturally likes to rotate a little deeper than the rest of the players. But I saw this play. This is something that Rawas likes to do a lot. Like normally players would just like hit this a lot harder. But the patience to see that like this 50, even though like apparently Jack is coming closer to this ball, he knows that Stizzy is facing backwards and Joreus is kind of positioned like he can turn in here. But he will have an instant pop if he goes for a soft touch anyway. So he goes for a soft touch just enough over Jack to where he can control this. And honestly, if he didn't boost here, it would have been really good. And honestly, probably even a better scoring opportunity. If he didn't boost and he stayed on the floor here, I think he could have waited for Joreus to panic on the backboard and fall off and waste his flip. And then I think he was worried about Stizzy pushing up here for an instant challenge, but still, I think I've seen Rawas take control of these situations where he's this close to the ball and he can make a higher shot, but he does try to get it over. And even if he does that, it's not the end of the world because TRK can cover. They do get out of defense, though. And that's the thing about Falcons is their average speed is like, I think it's like 100 higher than most teams on average. Might even be more. That was a good opportunity from Joreus. They are such a fast team. Their rotations are the quickest in the game. They have been for a while. So that's why I say, like, I feel like they deserved a win for a long time. Yeah, look at this. Rawas, like, he is always like that floater that kind of always resorts to a defensive position. He is letting his teammates cover positions. He's usually the one that forces. He's the one that kind of, look, he's leaving it for his teammate again. He's just playing close to the ball, but not actually, you know, actively being on the ball unless he has to. He already sees the clears coming. This is a really good chance from Stizzy. Like, Dignitas played well by all means in this series, but it just goes to show just how good Falcons was playing. Bit of an early aggression there from Rawas, but he does get midfield demo down the field and clear scores. So a bit of a force here. But I would say it's a bit of an aggressive challenge. Like, he jumps to the wall and he sees this pop. Like, a lot of the times they will go back like this and then start to float with the player that's going for this. But if we look at the other players on the team, let's see. I believe that TRK is pretty close here. Or no, it's Clears. Who sees the pop, ends up just backing up, gets the 50, and TRK is there for the challenge. It ends up working out really well. But I will say that was a bit of an aggressive challenge from Rawas. Ends up working out. What a shot. Go back to Rawas here. It's hard to know because TRK and Rawas use the same skin. Like, they look the exact same. Off the sidewall. Instant challenge. Trying to get disruptive here. TRK up early. No boost for Rawas here. Ends up flipping forwards. He's going for this aggressive instant challenge. They like to keep pressure. You can see there, actually, I can see that Rawas was debating flipping or jumping for this to sort of float. But I think he can see the angle at which Jack's coming at this ball, and he's coming from the far side of the ball. So when he's coming to approach this, the best he can do is get the ball to meet up in middle instead of towards net. So he was going to go for this, but Jack has to use a lot of boost to get up to this ball. And so I think Rawas just notices that, you know, Joreus is back here somewhere, but there's no one he can really pass to unless Joreus like pre-jumps, and no one's up right now. And so he can just sit with the ball and wait for this because there's nothing that he has to challenge here. He goes for a bump on Jack instead. I don't think it worked out as exactly to planned, And I remember this was on the POV of Jack when he was on this ball in RLCS. Like during the event, I remember seeing this. He goes up for this and gets control of this ball. He goes for the flip reset. And it was really good control. He actually goes for like a little pop to a flip and gets a second dunk. So in his defense, he played that really, really solidly. Get back on Rawas here. But Falcons just know they didn't have to like push on that ball. There's a bit of a panic here. All right, sorry, I had to get some water. I am struggling. My voice is like absolutely shot. Anyway, we're going back into this. Let's see the save here. So Sissy in the corner just gets popped over, but there's nobody to follow him up. That's the one thing that Falcons does really well. Like I talked about this before, is that they always have someone in a contingency plan to follow through with any touches here. So Kaliers makes a challenge in the corner. Now TRK's trying to play patient here. Oh, it's TRK. What the heck? I thought that was actually one of the like instantly up, and he keeps control of it too really well. This is the kind of thing, like, they kind of have identities on this team. They have a shooter, a midfielder, and a defender, but they obviously rotate between that. They don't just have purely one like role in what they do. Everyone can contribute, but there are tendencies that they have that sort of gel really well together. Actually, this is the most aggressive I've seen Rawas so far. Doesn't want to go for that. Decides to go for the touch. So he has the awareness to know that Jorius landed behind him right here, and he has no idea where he is. So in this situation, he has to be very careful, and I'm sure he's using his audio cues to know how close Jorius is to him in the situation. I got to go back to the game to move forward. He hears him behind him, and he's actually like right here. So that's why he decides to go for the touch. If he tries to let this control, it's too fast of a ball to let this roll past him, to where Jorius will not race him to the corner, right? So he has to make a touch, and he knows that. So he decides to pop it behind Jack, and then Jorius rushes back to the back corner boost because he knows, like in that situation, I think Jorius is watching. Let's see, is this him here? Yeah, he goes forward, lands back here. And look, he was ready to race back there, and he will win that ball, and Rawas knows that, and instantly Jorius backs off. So the decisions are very reactionary. That's not really a word, but reactive. He's deciding what to do in the moment because of what the opponents are doing, and it's very important. Obviously, that goes without saying. That's just Rocket League. It's very, very quick thinking, but it's just cool to see that they actively know like the right decision to make in each moment, and they always basically play the right decision. Like right here, he sees he doesn't need to challenge this. There's nothing that he can do to challenge this because you see right here, like TRK is pushing up behind, but look at the space. He's too far. If Rawas challenges this, if he pushes into this and the ball pops up, who's ready for this first? It's Jack or even Jorius. It's not TRK. So they know this, and they're not going to go for a challenge when they don't need to because it's just going to set up the opponents. So instead, he waits and then challenges it himself after the flick. He doesn't need to just force himself in there because it's not a ball that's going to be free for them. And they always try to make sure they're not giving up any openings for the opponents. That's really unlucky, but it ends up working out okay. And once again, he's going to be forcing something. It's honestly, that's not the best because the result he probably wanted was to get it 50'd up the wall. You can see TRK's back here. He is low, but you can see he was ready for that to be coming up the wall. That's probably where Rawas wanted it to go. Let me go back to him. Sorry. Here we go. They end up getting a midfield shot. Ends up being okay, though. I'm going to watch this again. Sorry, So this 50 right here comes off the side. TRK gets a boom, and then Kaliers pushes up. And it was unfortunate timing because he can't know that he's going to get demoed, but it was a really good turn from, I think it was Jack. Yeah, that was a great demo from Jack. See, if Jack doesn't come back and get that demo, that ball just rolls to a free clear for Rawas. Rawas decides to go back instead of get midfield boost here. Tries to get in the way and disrupt him. Because he could have got the midfield boost. But let's watch back with some of the other players here. So, Kaliers is racing for the boost, loses the boost. TRK is alone. If Rawas goes here and gets this boost, TRK is alone. Stizzy cuts out here. All they would need to do is get over TRK, and it's a free goal. So Rawas knows that, tries to disrupt and be a second man, or first man for the second man in TRK in the net. Once again, they don't need to push anything too... Like, that was okay from TRK. It ends up leading to a 50. Oh, say hello to my cat, by the way. She just decided to show up. Oh, really good fake. That's the kind of control I was talking about before, where he lets the ball do the work. And it was a hard shot to get on target in timing, but that kind of idea, like, Rawas does that really well. Obviously, in high-pressure situations, it's so much more difficult to, like, make those decisions and take the time, because it's such a fast-paced game, but we have overtime here. Oh, my pen was on the screen. Oopsie. Sorry, guys. Okay, so a bit of a giveaway, but also a giveaway from Dignitas. So high nerves in this OT. This would be a swinging match here, because 1-1 in the series. I think this is the closest the series or the series gets from here on out. There was an OT in the last game, to be fair, but like they had all the pressure. I think the final game they had like a combined total of like 19 shots. Off the backboard. TRK over to Clears. Great save from Jorius. Remember the crowd went crazy for that. This pop here. Not the worst, but does just give Clears a free plate on the field. Look at the turn from Jack here. He is just trying to get their last man, because in this situation with the 50, if Stizzy can win this and Jack gets this demo, it's just a free open net. And it almost works out because he pops it forward and Jack can rotate in for the shot. I feel like Jack was getting more aggressive with bumps than I've seen him ever, really. He was like really, really good positionally off the ball. And I've talked about this a lot too. In Rocket League, people like talk about, you know, what you're doing on the ball, but if you think about it, there are 6 players in a Rocket League field in professional Rocket League esports. And if you think about the average amount of time you're on the ball, you are talking about 16.66%. That's it. That's how much time you're on the ball. The other 83% is off ball. So all the things you're doing off ball is the most important aspect of the game. And it's something that just differentiates the high-level players versus like just regular SSLs or like high GCs, is their decision-making off ball. Like this is a crazy setup here. It's so good because he's faking the double here because he knows that it's a better opportunity for Clears if he pops this off. There's nothing Jack can do here. He's going to go off ceiling, but like there's nothing he can really do if Clears gets an early shot. He takes control of it. And now Jorius is out of boost. Pops it forward. They know that Jack just came off a demo and got that corner boost. Tizzy also is full. He's going to try and get the demo on him because he just used the rest of his boost. Pop forward. Gets beat here, which is fine. Probably loop out for a demo or something. He sees that he's already get the boost. Careful with the pop forward. Now Clear's going to have to try and force for Rawas. Really good 50s from Jorius. I don't even think that TRK needed to go for this. Because in the position of Appjack, let's see if I can get to him here. I guess he has to, because if he goes backboard here, but he's not really on an angle to shoot this towards target. So it ends up being fine that he jumps for it. But it wasn't like something that needed to happen because Jack couldn't get around on the ball. 50 goes mid. TRK's going to pop it and try to control the next touch. Really good play. Stizzy will get a clear here off the backboard. I really like how Jorius was playing in this finals. He had some crazy shots. I think he's underrated on the team. I think he has a lot of impact. That's not really shown. I mean, he has some like all-star goals that he scores, but a lot of positions where he makes like final adjustments. Now a bit of a giveaway from Jorius there, though. Could have been scary, but TRK is ready for it. Once again, forcing low, but I mean, this is like a really good play from Stizzy. Ends up being a follow-up, though, from Rawas. Let's see if he gets the demo or bump. Tries for it. Across, and that's the goal. So let's watch how this play developed from TRK's position. He is last man in a situation where both his teammates just both landed, but he sees that he has a free ball. He decides to try and shoot this instantly, which I thought at the moment, like in the moment, was like a bit of a poor decision. I mean, honestly, he could have probably shot that top right, but this find was so good. The thread of the needle here was such a good find. The thing about the way that he shoots this is he's able to recover. So if he waits a little bit longer to go for the half volley, lets this fall, right? It's going to fall to the ground here. He has to go wider on this and has to cut in where he shoots towards the net. And in doing that, he's going to flip himself into the net. Meanwhile, in this position, if he shoots it the way he does and he can recover on the wall, he can instantly turn. And so in hindsight, like the not half volley shot, just to throw something at the defenders was actually a good decision. It is a really scary situation in a 3.5 minute overtime to have both your teammates 0 boost, trying to recover. Meanwhile, your last man is taking a pot shot like this. And it works out well because Stizzy actually panics that it's going to be a harder shot. And even Jorius does, because we have it from their POVs. It could be a really strong shot coming out. If you see from here, I don't think Stizzy should have panicked, because right here, it was a bit of a flub shot. I think that like that was scary because if he gets more power, it's up and above. But this find here was so precise. And there's nothing that Jorius could really do once he landed. But you see here, he backflips. I think it was a lot of panic from the defense. Like, I think Jack did a really good job with what he could do here, because he was getting bumped from behind, ends up popping to the side. I think if anything, Jorius could have stopped his momentum back to the 50. Like right here, he needs to back up or come grounded. It's a tough situation. It was really well played from Rawas because he came from behind, and we'll go back to Rawas's POV here, trying to force that last defender off of the backboard. Yeah, this pass was like one of the most sneaky passes of the whole finals, I think. It was such a good find. That's game number 3. All right, moving into game 4, we're going to be on Khalir's perspective for the last 2 games, and he is the MVP of the RLCS for Raleigh. So it's going to be exciting to see him and how he plays differently to his teammates, because he was the star player for sure for this event. But I think there's an argument to say that, like, in certain events and certain regionals and stuff like that, like TRK and Rawas have had their star moments as well. Like, they all can shine. So far, Khalir's have been demoed like 3 times, and they're like just going after him. Leaves it for TRK. Bit of a panic from Jack. Looks like he was trying to go for it for Stizzy. A setup for Rawas, just rotates behind. So far, a bit of posturing for Khalir's. Waits for the 50. Stizzy's on it first, though. Stizzy just played so well. I mean, as a RLCS rookie, he had a really good performance. Okay, Clears goes behind. Just a lot of just like positioning for, like, this is like crazy because he's like the all-star player that like is the one scoring everything. But so far, I'm not gonna say he's flat-footed, but so far he's been like very patient. Waiting for his time to strike, I guess. We have TRK setting up the pop. Instant read from Jack. He sees the flip's going to come out, so he just waits for it. I think that was okay, but it ends up being the same result. Like, no matter what, TRK making this touch, it either goes to Stizzy off in the corner or Stizzy off to the sidewall. But not his best touch. Decides to go for another follow-up. A lot of players that make this pop here, and they go for the boost steal, which I think was a fine option here. But you can see that all the players on Data Toss were actually full boost. They were set up for this defense. So the bump was a good play just to sort of break up their full boost situation. There's no way you could know that in that situation. He's already been demoed like 3 or 4 times in this game. Good patience from Rawas. That's such a good play. That's what I'm talking about. Like, even though Kalir's was the one to score like most of the goals, the setups, like an assist from his teammates were incredible. Like that play, they think he's gonna use the flip, but they like Rawas knows if he makes this flip, like it's going to be a free push from I think it's Joreus in the net. Like Joreus is ready for this like extra flip. Like if that flip comes out, it's gonna spill right here, and Kalir's can't make it. So instead, he goes to the wall and then gets the pop out fast. I think this was at the point where like Rawas doesn't use his flip, he needs to like read Kalir's. The only problem is he needs to be careful that he doesn't like over read this, because then Rawas can see that he's pushing out. His car language here, his body language, is going to tell Rawas what he needs to do. And I think if you watch Rawas's POV, he's probably paying attention to where Joreus is. And so he pops it, tries to pop it around him once he sees that his car isn't facing outwards, and Kalir's is ready for it. The thing is, though, if he saw Joreus positioned differently, like right here, if he held onto the ball and Joreus started pushing up, he would have played this differently. But he could see Joreus pushed up a little too far and didn't turn. But we'll go back to Kalir's here. But yeah, honestly, Kalir's played really well on offense, like for shots, but his teammates set him up in a lot of moments to give him those openings. Still, though, had 30 shots in the finals. In total, they had 66 shots. I don't know if I said that already. So on an average of 13 shots a game, I think it was the highest shots in a series of 5 games. Yeah, Rawas just leaves it. Good 50. Just going to loop out wide here. He's probably going to go all the way back because Rawas needs to set up for a touch. Instant pop. They like to do that because there's going to be an early challenge, but Jack reads it higher. He goes even further out. That's a really good dunk from him, but you can see no one's set up from Dignitas to even deal with that. So Jack is now 0 boost, and we have a full setup for Falcons. So it wasn't even the worst thing that Jack dunks him. Obviously, it could go towards target or go in the net, but they have a setup for a play downfield. Says he's scared. Just a shot off to the side. It's a bar down, but I don't think that's going in if it is on target. I think one of them saved it. Like Stizzy, I think, has this. Let's see. I keep skipping him. Maybe not. I think he hesitated. He goes for the boost. Yeah. I mean, he sees that's not in. It was a hard shot for Kalir's to hit in the top left, but still a really good position to kind of break up the defense of Dignitas. Oh, I should have been in too. Dang, a couple shots where Kalir's could have even like shown off even more in this series. Some good opportunities. And once again, those are setups from his teammates. Like this touch from TRK, pops it out middle, and then Kalir's is there to shoot. And I don't think Jack covered enough to really let that not be dangerous. TRK instantly up. Look at that. Like they're already all set up on offense again. Use of space. Something that Rawas did a lot too is just using the knowledge that they are the one with the ball. They can move around the ball in a way that like gives them more of an advantage. Like he has the ball, and yes, he could make an instant touch here. We'll go back here in this situation. Like I see this so much in ranked, like where like someone will go up the wall here and like they'll set themselves up to go up to this ball, right? And they'll just like try to boom this across over to Rawas. But look at this setup, right? Like we have so many players looming on the side of Dignitas. Like he is ready for anything in this space. Even though he's low boost and he's doing his like pad rotation here, he is ready for anything that spills mid. Stizzy's ready for anything back post, and Jack is ready for anything on the backboard or close here. So if he takes a catch, Jack will backflip into this. If he takes a shot, Stizzy will have it. If he tries to pop this back middle, Joreus will have it. The only thing that is not covered by any of these players is a ball bouncing off this wall back into this space. And this is such a dangerous place for Kalir's to have and take advantage of, because the only player that will really probably set up for this is going to be Joreus, who's going to start pushing up. But he hesitates because he sees that from Joreus' position here, he hesitates because Kalir's lets the ball bounce But I really think the second he sees that, he needs to come out and start. I don't know why he hesitated. He really should probably be pushing out to that, at least force something. I'm going to go back to Kalir's POV, though. Gets the 50 across. The thing is, I guess like Joreus did not want to use the boost that he just collected just to get like a little force, because he'd be at 0 boost again. Good force from Stizzy, but does get demoed. Pot shot from Rawas. And that's the thing, too. They have a lot of shots on target because when they shoot, they are intentionally trying to put shots on target. I know that sounds really stupid to say, but what I'm trying to say by that is they place the ball on target in a way that they know is going to be saved in a lot of situations, but will result in a spill out of a ball that they can deal with in the future. So they always try to shoot the ball in a spot. Like, they don't always just go backboard. The only time they let the ball bounce backboard is when they're like setting up like a fake off of the double touch or something like that to allow for another shot to come through. But the defense of like RLCS teams nowadays is so good that if you don't shoot on target, it's going to allow like a change of momentum for them. Like, look at that. Like that is on purpose. Like, he is trying to pop this high. Because if he pops it any lower towards target, it's a clear. Stizzy turns on this, and he'll get a pop to the side. And look, there's no one set up for that. And so TRK knows he has to hit it higher than the goal. And then Jack panics as well. But he does do a good follow-up off of this to try and get in the way. Joreus actually ends up being the one to touch it. But it's always a situation where they have to rush to the next touch. Always a coverage. Like, we have Kalir's being the next player behind. Pop to the side. Rawas is there. He tries to pass it across. And honestly, probably could have gotten closer. But Jack's got the demo. I think he didn't need to double jump. He was low boost, but he does get the follow-up and the boost steal. So no matter what, even if he doesn't get the shot on target, doesn't get the shot that he wants to score, they continue their pressure. And then once again, just clears as a flip reset setup because he got the follow-up. And this all starts from this play here, this setup, that touch. The knowledge to know that like Stizzy can't really cover the turn that fast, so he has to just pre-jump. But in that recovery, he gets the boost first. And that touch is so integral. Like, it's crazy how important this touch here is. This little like chip back. He calls that he's going to do that. Instant turn from Kalir's. And it's so quick that no one was ready for it. And there's the goal. Instant jump. Sets up for the flip reset. I honestly think that what he could have done here is the flip reset and then flip. I think that the problem here is that his touch, like this, recoils his car where he's trying to flip up and towards it. But this flip ends up putting his car into a flip reset position. Because a lot of players, what they'll do for like double flip resets, triple flip resets, is they will have their car under the ball and they'll flip at this 45-degree angle. And when you do that kind of corner flip, it ends up finishing your flip underneath. And so I think it was a good touch into the ceiling, but he could have done what they call a Zen touch, where he uses the top of his car, his front of his car, and that could have kept possession. But it was a really good challenge from Joreus to cover it as soon as possible. But once again, it just lands in the hands of one of the Falcons players. Like, it's a force in a situation where Falcons come out on top anyway. Almost a demo there. They're making Dig rush all their touches. Every touch that comes out of Dig, it just goes right back to Falcons. It's a one and done. I would say this is the best situation for them because you have Joreus with full boost on the side, sets it up, and now he's leaving it for. Well, he should have left that for Stizzy, but it's the end of the game, and I mean it's two goals up, so it didn't really matter. But that was their best position in the game so far, where they had more than one follow-up. All right, in the final game for Game 5, we're on Kalir's again, and he does score the game winner in overtime. Spoiler alert! And yeah, what a great run from them. They did not lose a single series, and it goes to show why. Like, they just cover everything. They make sure that there's no overcommitment. And the game that they lost was the game where they overcommitted. So that just goes to show. Whenever they panic, they lose composure or anything like that, it's instantly caught off, caught by the opponents. But they don't do it very often. He could have challenged that. Definitely. He could jump to this. But why? Like, Rawas just jumped. He can't recover. He's not going to beat Stizzy to the ball. And already TRK's, like, forcing a situation. This is a great play from Stizzy, but not much they can do with the follow-up. That's the thing with Dignitas in this series. And I think that's more to say that Falcons was doing it well, is stopping them from follow-ups, rather than, like, something that Dignitas was doing poorly. It was more so, like, forced errors rather than unforced errors. And what a shot from Clears. It's just, like, really good placement. And look, setup from TRK. Like, that does not happen with the ball just spilling off the corner. Like, this would normally just spill into the corner and roll up the wall, but TRK just sits in a spot where the ball just pops off of him and he can't follow it, and Stizzy is just caught off guard. Could he have done better here? I mean, it's so quick. You have to be ready for a shot, but I don't think there's much more that he could do to react. I think, if anything, you jump now. Like, he needed to jump. He didn't need to turn his car. He turned his car forward towards the goal, towards the ball's position, but this angle is actually better for him that he's faced this way, because when he flies up, you can cover all of the corner, and you can turn backwards. He did not. You actually lower your angles when you go like this, because then you'd have to angle your car to the right or left while you're in midair. So I think that was the mistake for Stizzy here, was turning his car. He actually, like, fully turns his car, like, straight before jumping. Meanwhile, I think that, like, an off angle was actually okay. Oh, we're in slow-mo now. Let's go back to the star player. The only player on their team with a different decal. Good 50. But Stizzy actually comes out on top. Now, this is a 4-3 game, I believe. Like, that was a great play from Jorius. I remember this goal, too. Like, what a stuff. And you can see that one time... I gotta stop watching the demos here. The one time where, like, this 50 was really, really good. Stizzy's gonna be first on this because he gets the boost steal in mid. The one time where Dignitas gets a couple follow-ups on a couple balls, they get a goal. The stuff here from Jorius. And then the backflip, or the pancake. Let's watch it from his POV. Let's watch this goal real quick, because it was really, really nice. There was a couple times where Jorius hit some, like, insane goals. Goes for the pancake, and then the shot. It's just beautiful. That's what I was talking about. Like, I really like how Jorius plays. I think he deserves a Grand Finals win. Stizzy and Jorius both don't have one, but now their best result is a second place, which is more than most players can say. Still 1-1 though. It's not a lead for Dignitas, but it is a start for them. It was looking a little bleak, and this was the closest game of overtime. So I think it was pretty long overtime as well. Just one and done touch from Jack. Flip reset. Look, that's the kind of space I'm talking about. Like, he knows Stizzy isn't gonna be able to make another touch here. Now, he sees that Jorius is pretty far away. This is the space that he needs to recognize. He does not need to boom this into the corner. That's not going to do anything. Like, if anything, it's going to be a boost steal from Jorius up the wall, and then just a clear. So he knows Stizzy just landed, and he still has a good amount of boost. And so he's going to try and turn and clear, like, cover this again. But he gets pressure off of that, and Jorius notices that he has space. But the thing is, he's already panicking. Like, he already is scared that there's someone going to be there. But right there, he should have seen that Rawas turned away. He was over here. You can see his boost trail is actually right there. Like, this should have been recognized space already, because we had the other player from Falcons move away. And so this kind of composure is what Falcons does really well. They never panic like this. You don't see them backflip on spots where they recognize the space already. They're already seeing the play ahead of time. Good demo from Clears. Ooh. Trying to land underneath them or go underneath Jack there. Trying to disrupt their defense. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I think this is their goal here. It was interesting. That was a very ambitious jump from Clears. I think he expected the fake. Yeah, because he was going right where the ball was, and then I think TRK hit an extra touch. And then let's see from Rawas's POV. Yeah, so he actually decides to turn. This is how confident they are. He decides to turn this way. This actually wouldn't have been a goal if he did this rotation. At least not like an immediate goal. It would have still been very dangerous for them. But he sees that there's a potential shot from them, and usually they communicate really well to like call those fakes. Still pretty dangerous for him to go this way because Stizzy was challenging it. It ends up being, you can see the difference in timing. He would have been back, but Jack may have demoed him, so it might not have mattered. Yeah, but a bit of a missed call from them. So that was an unforced error for them to get scored on. Doesn't need to go yet. Yep, Rawas goes. Ends up forcing it to the side. And yeah, instantly, like, TRK is getting full boost. And we have Rawas covering for him because he sees Jack up. If he didn't see Jack up, if Jack wasn't jumping, he wouldn't have gone for this yet. Pops it behind. Let's go back to Kalir's here. Very panicky defense. Trying to go for a bump on one. Oh yeah, that shot was disgusting. You can see this is the only goal that Rawas gets in this game, but it was very important because it brought them back to the 2-2 scoreline. So it just goes to show that like they all had to be involved. I think like if you had to say one player was the quietest on this team, it was definitely TRK, but I think naturally that's going to happen when he's like the midfield player. That was a really good dunk from Kalir's. Like just disgusting 50. Really unlucky from Stizzy too. Let's just go see how he read this. His mistake there was pushing up on this. This 50 was poor, and I think instantly I'm not saying I'm better than Stizzy, obviously. Stizzy's insane. I would have maybe went backboard here. But I know he doesn't want to give Kalir's too much space, but you have time here because of where Jack is. You can see Jack rotating back with 80. So, yes, Stizzy could have gone backboard and could have been up here by now, and then Jack could have covered this ground play. Instead, and it would be a much better setup because I think Stizzy would have been ready for this sidewall play, and it wouldn't have been dangerous. But his attempt to like push forward and try to cover that is what caused a little bit of the disruption. And I think too, like Jack jumped because of where TRK was. No, I think it was Rawas. Yeah, Jack panicked because Rawas goes to his 50 in the corner. And then he's going to go for a bump. If Jack hits the brake at all, he's going to get bumped. So he has to jump off. And that was enough to make Kalir's get a free goal. But I think if Stizzy went backboard immediately and covered the high, it's a lot safer of an option. Like nowadays in the high level play, like this is like a high bouncing ball. He could take time and like this bounce is not enough for him to take a ground control fast enough. So the backboard is the natural play, I think. That's where it goes. So I will say that's a bit of a misplay from Stizzy, but we'll move on. I talked about it enough. I think it was a really good setup from them. Ends up getting the win on that. Wow. No boost. He knows there's no boost in that back corner. He's going to grab a couple pads. This boost will spawn. Wow, that's unfortunate timing. But you can see he was looking for where he can get boost, and none of the options were clear, so he just ends up getting a couple pads and rotating back in. All right, good stuff from, I can't remember who that was. That was, I think it was Rawas. And this is like a good opportunity for Dignitas. It's just a couple panicky touches. Like, I think Stizzy could let the ball do the work here. Like, let the ball do the work and bring a player in. It's something that like they didn't do very much. Like they don't need to make a touch yet because they're just letting them get 50s after the fact because they're making a touch too late. Meanwhile, Falcons only make touches when they need to. They only make touches that make sense for their team. They're not playing it into anyone's hand. And you can see the patience here just from Kalir's. He knows TRK is rotating behind. And he knows there's a player somewhere back here, but they're not going for a bump. They're like, you can't hear them close to him. So he's just waiting for Joyous to run out of boost, run out of position here. Gets another 50 as well. Instant challenge from Rawas. Wow. Could have been dangerous, but once again, he had someone behind him. That's what I kind of want to see more from. Like, I wanted to see more from Dignitas was this patience here. Like, this touch right here doesn't need to instantly hit it, because what happens if he hits this? Look who's up, who's ready for this. TRK. He is backwards, but like he will be in a good position if he hits it over. And like even here, they do need a goal, but like there was time for Joreus to, like right here, like even Jack could like come and take the ball. I mean, it's really good control from Joreus, and this is actually like the insane goal I was talking about. This is like an insane goal that ends up happening. So well played. But I was saying that like there is time here to like take possession, which he does. He does make a very good touch. But in the high pressure situation, if he doesn't make this good touch, then it's kind of a waste of possession. Look at this backflip into an extra touch, just insane. Really well played from Joreus. He had a couple crazy goals in this finals, and to do it in a high pressure situation, I think he had probably the biggest highlight goals. Like so far, like I don't think like the Falcons have done anything crazy or like a triple flip reset or anything, but like they just have really consistent goal scoring and really good passing plays. But I think mechanics wise, Joreus shined the most. Off to the side, look at all the space they have. Bit scary there. Instant pop. Joreus jumps. Really good defense again. Last man. They keep it in. Almost a bump too. Rawas knows he has that ball. Like look how much space they have. Everyone's rotating back. Joreus just got the corner, but the momentum of the ball is going towards Rawas, away from Stizzy. He has the ball for free. Nice, good touch. Ooh, not the best from TRK, but Rawas just keeps it safe in the corner. He's going to probably jump to this and get a pinch. Yep. And I think they're playing for OT at this point. Yep, there it is. All right, final OT. Clear scores this goal, but it is a bit of a fight. Huge pinch from Stizzy's going to be a follow-up here. Just finding each other on the side here. Good touches from Jack. Look at that. He calls him off. Like that's so... You don't see that very often. Like you usually would see someone just follow that through. But he says, no, I got it. Rawas takes across. And he fakes. Because he doesn't need to make a touch. He doesn't need to make a touch yet. I think he could have honestly hit that to Rawas on the wall. Like, I don't think Joreus really covers that. It's interesting that TRK calls him off of this. I guess he has full boost. He's trying to like take possession. He pops it over to Rawas anyway. But in doing so, like I guess he gives Clears the time to try and grab a boost. Puts it to the corner, and now he's low boost again. Around Stizzy instantly. So 50s always just work out for them. Because they make it that way. They don't try to go for like unfavorable 50s. I will say that was probably the most unfavorable so far. But it goes back to mid, and once again, they're covering it. They're just always ready. Stizzy will make an extra touch here. It's fine. He's going to follow up the extra touch. He heard his teammate go up, but it doesn't really matter. He's going to follow it up anyway. The momentum's just in his favor. What a challenge. There's so many times where they're on 12 or 20 boosts. They still just, 4 positions, they just go because they have to. Like, they want to go and make sure they keep that momentum going. They don't want to be impatient. Or they don't want to be patient in those situations where they have the rotation of their touches and their offense. They will just go in that position. They have so much power on every clear, too. When they want to get height, they make sure it's high. And it's a lot of boom ball. I love this play. And that's that's the winner, man. Like this is all 3 players getting involved. And look at the angle TRK had to take on this. He calls for mid. I'm almost 100% sure he calls for this. Pops it forward, and then clears just with the finish. I mean, it's just textbook. Like, just using all players on offense. They're all just stuck. There's nothing they can do. Wow. I mean, just even watching these back, like, it just goes to show just how dominant they were. And this is not just unique to this one series. They were like this the entire event. And I think that they have been for a while. Like, the only times that they haven't really, like, they've gotten to finals before, and they haven't like closed out a series. I think it really was nerves, but they've hit the finals enough times now that they just will, you know, at some point they were going to win. And I'm really excited to see how they play at Worlds, because I think that they have a chance to win Worlds, which would be super exciting. If they keep up with how they're playing now, they definitely have a running for it. So it's super cool. I hope you guys enjoyed like a little bit of a dive into how they play. I didn't use the pen tool as much as I maybe should have, but I was more so just talking about the rotations and what they were doing, and sort of exploring how each of their positions are affecting each other and why they work so well together. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more analysis like this in the future, let me know. It was pretty long. It was like 1 hour and 12 on my end. But yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed watching this live. I think it was my most enjoyable finals for a while in the RLCS. Just because I really enjoy how the Falcons play. So yeah, if you guys want to see more like this, more analysis, more deep dive. Until next time, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.